Another mistake people make is not considering lurkers. Put simply, there may be a considerable number of members in your community who seem inactive because they don't participate through posts, comments, attending live calls, etc. However, they might still enjoy your community space by reading posts, watching courses, etc. Therefore, don't conclude that a seemingly inactive member isn't enjoying what your community has on offer. However, it's crucial to avoid using the potential existence of lurkers in your community as a justification for a genuinely inactive space. This is just to remind you that lurkers are often overlooked when assessing community engagement metrics. This point has to be made because oftentimes when people are evaluating their online community for activity, they might consider that, oh, well, it seems that, for example, let's say there's a community of 100 members, they realize that only 50 are seemingly active. But what they're oftentimes overlooking is the presence of a lurker. And a lurker in the context of an online community is a member who doesn't actively participate. He doesn't post, he doesn't comment, he doesn't attend live calls, whatever it may be, but that doesn't mean that he isn't active. He's active in the sense that he's reading the posts, watching the courses, and he's indeed having a good time. He's just not a member that chooses to participate, and that's his prerogative. It might be an online community, so there might be a sense, or there may be a predisposition for people to want to network and communicate amongst each other, but at the end of the day, there's always going to be some members who prefer to be a little less active than others in terms of the traditional engagement metrics. So if ever you see in your community that there are inactive members, they might not actually be as inactive as you think they are. They might just be lurkers. But I left my note there simply because you do not want to use this particular point as a crutch or excuse for genuine inactivity in your community. If your community is seeing very little engagement across the board, then don't just assume that it's because you have a bunch of lurkers. At the end of the day, like I said previously, a community is a social affair, whether in person or online. So at the end of the day, you're going to want to have the vast majority of your members being visibly active and to have a small amount of members who are lurkers. That would be the ideal ratio to maintain.